Step inside this fluorescent-lit nightmare with me. I am Amos Miller, and I've seen enough to know that the grocery store isn't a sanctuary. It is a meticulously designed prison. Look at these aisles. Everything feels sterile, plastic-wrapped, and entirely disconnected from the earth. I stop at the produce section, staring down at these sad, shriveled ginger roots. They are gray, dehydrated, and suffocating under layers of industrial chemical wax meant to keep them looking fresh for an eternity. You pay a premium price for this hollow convenience, yet you are really just paying for a slow decline in your own health. It is an insult to anyone who values honest food. We have become so accustomed to this cycle of dependency that we barely notice how much power we have surrendered to a broken supply chain. You swipe your card, you carry the heavy bags home, and within 3 days, that ginger is a moldy, useless mess in your crisper drawer. It is a direct hit to your wallet and a quiet death for your autonomy. We are trapped in a system that feeds us scraps while keeping the truth hidden behind polished glass displays. It is a calculated design to keep us needing them, forever tethered to their shelves and their inflated price tags. But this is exactly where the game changes for those of us who refuse to be mere consumers. You might think that piece of ginger is just a mundane ingredient destined for the trash, but you are staring at a living, biological engine. I've learned that the secret to reclaiming your kitchen starts right here, in the dirt, far away from their predatory pricing models. If you think that $2 root is just flavor for your tea, you have been misled by the very people desperate to keep you blind. Those of us who refuse to be mere consumers. You might think that piece of ginger is just a mundane ingredient destined for the trash, but you are staring at a living, biological engine. I've learned that the secret to reclaiming your kitchen starts right here, in the dirt, far away from their predatory pricing models. If you think that $2 root is just flavor for your tea, you have been misled by the very people desperate to keep you blind. I am Amos Miller, and I'm here to tell you that this industry gamble ends today. We've been conditioned to believe that gardening is a game of chance, a high-stakes lottery where only the lucky few win a harvest. That is a lie manufactured to keep you paying at the checkout counter. You don't need acres of land or a miracle of nature to secure your food sovereignty. You just need to understand the code of the soil. When I hold this gnarled root, I don't see a grocery bill. I see a dormant legacy waiting for a spark, a blueprint for a year-round supply of nutrient-dense life that doesn't care about inflation. But if you think that success is merely about dumping a root into a pot of soil, you are profoundly mistaken. You are trying to build a castle without looking at the foundation. We are about to awaken a heritage that has been suppressed by the convenience culture for far too long. However, the first step to unlocking this miracle doesn't involve the quality of the dirt or the frequency of your water, but a tiny biological detail that is almost always overlooked by the amateur gardener. Stay with me, because if you miss this, you've already lost the battle before the first sprout even dares to break the surface. Look closely at these ginger rhizomes. Most people just grab the first knob they see at the grocery store, but you aren't most people. I'm Amos Miller, and I'm here to tell you that selecting your ginger is not a shopping trip. It's a high-stakes forensic investigation. You are searching for the eyes of life. See these small raised bumps along the joints? Those aren't just imperfections. They are dormant biological powerhouses, waiting for the right signal to ignite. If the skin is shriveled or the flesh feels soft and spongy, that rhizome is clinically dead. It's a husk, a hollow promise of a harvest that will never arrive. You need weight. You need firmness that resists your thumb. Feel the texture. If it doesn't snap back with vitality, put it down. You are looking for those plump, cream-colored buds, the ones that look like they're ready to burst open with sheer intensity. This is the Amos Miller way. Never settle for the leftovers of the industrial food chain. We pick for survival, for longevity, and for that hidden, potent energy trapped inside the root. It's about sensing the life force within the fiber, discarding the rot, and keeping only what is primed for growth. But stop right there. If you think grabbing the best-looking piece at the market is all it takes to win, you are dead wrong. This is the moment where confidence often curdles into disaster. You see, selecting the perfect rhizome is only the first half of this uphill battle. There is a lethal, hidden mistake in the preparation phase that most amateurs commit. A blunder so catastrophic that it can turn your promising, robust ginger into a pile of rotting mush in less than a single night. You might think picking the best-looking piece at the market is all it takes to win, but you are dead wrong. This is the moment where confidence often curdles into disaster. You see, selecting the perfect rhizome is only the first half of this uphill battle. There is a lethal, hidden mistake in the preparation phase that most amateurs commit. A blunder so catastrophic that it can turn your promising, robust ginger into a pile of rotting mush in less than a single night. I am Amos Miller, and I have seen many dreams buried in wet soil too early. Before that ginger ever meets the earth, it demands a ritual of resilience. You must slice your rhizome into sections, ensuring every piece holds a healthy eye. Then, you stop. You don't plant. You wait. You let those raw, exposed wounds dry out in the open air for 48 hours until a hard, protective callus forms over the flesh. It is nature's own bandage, a desperate survival mechanism that seals the interior against the creeping decay of soil-borne pathogens. This is not just gardening, it is a lesson in patience. You are allowing the ginger to heal its own scars, teaching it to be strong before it dives into the darkness of the container. If you rush this process, you are essentially burying an open wound in a grave of bacteria. You need to respect the biology of the plant, letting it harden like a seed potato before the real work begins. But if you think that healing a wound is the hardest challenge here, you are sorely mistaken, because now we hit a wall that stops most growers dead in their tracks. As the phallus-like buds prepare for life, selecting the perfect vessel for this ginger suddenly triggers a heated, intense debate about sizing. Should we embrace the vast or find the limit in the small? Forget the massive, deep buckets you see at big box stores. I am Amos Miller, and I am here to tell you that size is a total trap. To unlock a massive harvest, you need a vessel that breathes. Seek out a container at least 12 inches wide, but keep it shallow. Think wide, not deep. Ginger loves to spread, not dive into the dark abyss of bottomless soil. Fill that container with a fluffy, high-octane medium, something rich, organic, and fast-draining. We are building a luxury suite, not a prison. Now witness the precision. You place your callous ginger rhizome exactly 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch below the surface. Not too deep, not too shallow. Ensure those tiny, eager eyes are facing upward, reaching for the heavens. It is a delicate balance, a quiet dance between the earth and the light. You have to nurture that connection with the precision of a surgeon. Amos Miller knows that this is where most people falter. They bury their dreams too deep and hope for the best, only to watch them rot in the damp, heavy silence of bad soil. But when you get this geometry right, the plant feels the warmth, the security, and the invitation to expand its kingdom across the entire span of the pot. You are not just gardening, you are engineering a miracle within the confines of a simple plastic ring. If you think this technical setup is the final secret to success, you are dead wrong. We are playing a game of biological mimicry. But how on earth can a small, humble pot tucked away in the corner of a quiet house actually manage to perfectly replicate the humid, relentless climate of those wild, distant tropical jungles? You are not just gardening. You are engineering a miracle within the confines of a simple plastic ring. If you think this technical setup is the final secret to success, you are dead wrong. We are playing a game of biological mimicry. But how on earth can a small, humble pot tucked away in the corner of a quiet house actually manage to perfectly replicate the humid, relentless climate of those wild, distant tropical jungles? Listen closely, because I am Amos Miller, and I have spent my life decoding the raw, unfiltered language of the earth. To unlock a massive harvest, you must manipulate the environment with surgical precision. Ginger is a creature of the tropics. It craves the sweltering heat, specifically between 70 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything colder, and the growth grinds to a painful, frozen halt. Anything hotter without proper airflow, and you are inviting disaster. You must provide dappled sunlight, a golden balance that mimics the canopy of a forest floor. It is a philosophy of harmony. When we nurture these roots, we are not just growing food, We are preserving the ancestral connection to the soil that modern life desperately tries to strip away. If you believe in this sacred mission, smash that subscribe button now. Join our movement. Help us protect these fading traditional values, and let us cultivate a future that honors the land. But here is where the shadows lengthen and the tension spikes. As the peak of summer descends with an unforgiving, blistering intensity, the very air turns against your crop. The sun becomes a weapon. Under this relentless, burning glare, how do you shield the delicate, thirsty roots of your ginger from being completely scorched and dehydrated before the harvest even truly begins? The sun is an unforgiving tyrant, beating down on our containers with a lethal intensity that threatens to boil the life right out of our ginger rhizomes. You've put in the work, but without a strategy, your harvest will wither into dust. I am Amos Miller, and I have learned that nature's best defense against this blistering heat is not found in a laboratory, but right beneath our feet. To shield those roots, you must armor your soil. Apply a 2-inch layer of organic mulch, straw or dried leaves, across the surface of every single pot. This isn't just aesthetic, it is a biological fortress. This thick blanket mimics the forest floor, locking in moisture and keeping the soil temperature steady and cool. You will watch as your water consumption drops dramatically, saving you precious resources while the ginger thrives in the stable, temperate darkness beneath the mulch. It is the difference between a struggling plant and a flourishing bounty. But if you think that the secrets of the harvest end with simple mulching, you have been gravely mistaken. We are just scratching the surface of what this plant can offer. Months have bled into one another, and your ginger is finally reaching its peak. The foliage is vibrant, signaling that beneath the surface, the treasures are swelling. Here is the million-dollar question. How do you harvest this spicy gold to enjoy day by day without uprooting the entire plant and ending its life cycle prematurely? Most people make the mistake of pulling everything at once, effectively killing their golden goose. To unlock the hidden vault, you must master the delicate art of finger harvesting. But wait, how do you reach into that dark, packed earth without scarring the roots or destroying the very network feeding your plant? If you want to know the forbidden technique for this, make sure you are subscribed to Amos Miller, because the next step is nothing short of surgical. I am Amos Miller, and today we abandon the amateur habit of digging up everything at once. You are holding a treasure chest, but most people treat it like a wrecking ball. To keep your plant thriving while you enjoy fresh harvests, we use the invisible harvest method. After 4 or 5 months, your ginger is ready for its first extraction. Reach into the soil at the very edge of your container, gently brushing away the mulch. Feel for the hard, knobby structure of the rhizome protruding from the main plant. With surgical precision, snap off just the outer fingers. By leaving the core intact, the heart of the plant remains undisturbed, pumping energy back into the soil to fuel further growth. It feels like stealing from a dragon's hoard without waking the beast. The sudden realization that you can have your ginger and grow it too is electrifying, isn't it? You are no longer a passive gardener. You are a master of subterranean logistics. Every snap is a calculated move, a secret transaction between you and the earth. You watch the plant, you listen to its rhythm, and you take exactly what you need. It turns the chore of gardening into a high-stakes game of patience and reward. You gain a sense of total mastery, a feeling that your tiny backyard container is now an infinite well of golden spice. But if you think this cycle of endless abundance is the final chapter of our growth story, you are mistaken. The real, raw power of this harvest lies in the silence of the season. The true climax of this journey only reveals itself when the lush, vibrant green leaves start to slowly fade into a deep, warning shade of gold. The wait is finally over. The leaves have surrendered their vitality, and the soil beneath your fingertips feels heavy with anticipation. I'm Amos Miller, and this is the moment of truth. Forget the cautious plucking from before. Today, we go for the kill. Grab your spade and plunge it deep into that container. As you heave the massive roots from the earth, the sheer weight of what you've grown hits you. 1, perhaps 2 pounds of pristine, knobby ginger, smelling of raw, untamed potential. It's an adrenaline rush that few store-bought ingredients can ever replicate. Now, don't let this treasure sit idle. We transform this harvest into legacy. Take your sharpest blade, slice these rhizomes thin, and let them dehydrate under a gentle, patient heat. Once brittle, grind them into a potent golden dust. This isn't just powder, it's an ancestral elixir, shelf-stable and pure, ready to guard your pantry for up to 2 years. You aren't just hoarding spice, you're building a fortress of self-reliance, one container at a time. But if you believe this is merely about seasoning your dinner, you are walking in the dark. The true mystery isn't found on your kitchen shelf. It is hidden in the very fiber of these roots. I've seen this spice turn lives around, quietening the storm within the body when conventional methods fail. This golden root holds a secret that doctors rarely discuss, a natural mechanism capable of silencing the persistent, nagging aches that plague your family every single day. If you think the story of this harvest ends with a simple jar of ginger powder, you are gravely mistaken. The revelation waiting in the next chapter will change everything you thought you knew about healing from home. This golden root holds a secret that doctors rarely discuss. A natural mechanism capable of silencing the persistent, nagging aches that plague your family every single day. If you think the story of this harvest ends with a simple jar of ginger powder, you are gravely mistaken. I am Amos Miller, and I have witnessed how this earthborn remedy functions as God's own pharmacy. When nausea strikes, or a sore throat begins to tighten its grip, ginger acts with a precision that synthetic pills often lack. It calms systemic inflammation and eases the fire of arthritis. Yet we must respect its potency. Always consult your physician before replacing professional care, especially if you manage blood pressure or clotting issues. Respect the plant, and it will respect your health. But there is a dark truth hidden behind the grocery store aisles. They want you dependent on their expensive, processed concoctions. They fear the day you realize that your porch, your window, or your backyard is all you need to reclaim your vitality. My mission is to tear down that dependency, one ginger rhizome at a time. This is more than gardening. It is a declaration of independence from a broken system that profits from your illness. If you are tired of the status quo and ready to cultivate your own medicine, subscribe to my channel. Share this video with someone who needs to wake up, and let's start a revolution in our kitchens. I challenge you to plant your first container of ginger this season. Don't just watch me change my life. Take the seeds and start building your own. The journey toward total self-reliance has finally begun. But let me ask you this. Do you actually have the guts to take that first decisive step right here, right now, today?